Hello and welcome back to some World of Tanks. Today, the Chieftain prototype. It's one of the new tanks available in the Waffenträger event loot boxes. Is it worth it? Kind of spoiler. With the way that those loot boxes work, the more of the you can get a bunch of different premium tanks if you are lucky. There's about a 2% chance of getting a premium tank from one of the crates, and it could be any one of a number of tanks. So if you don't have any of them already, the chances of you getting this one or the new KV4 KTTS, that and this is they are the two new ones, kind of slim. If you have most of them, then you have slightly better chances of getting one of the new ones. So if you don't think you have a good chance of getting it, don't gamble for it. It's not that great. It's not worth it if you have to spend a lot. And the reason it's not worth it is because of that dispersion right there. How the aim circle blooms out whenever you move, and even when it's fully closed in, it's not that small. It's not a very accurate tank. Also, even though it bears the name Chieftain, it's is it like the tier 10 Chieftain? No, because you can't really sidescrape with it. It's got these bulges on the turret ring here. The hull armor is a lot weaker. It's not as fast as the tier 10 Chieftain. Pen on the premium round, well, it doesn't show up here, but it's like 310-ish, which you're going to struggle against some of the more heavily armored tanks, and it's got a much bigger cupola. And a bigger cupola, okay, there we go. Combined with the fact that you have to sit there and aim and aim and aim, that means you're giving the enemy a lot of time to aim at your weak spot. And yeah, you could do some things with like turning the turret to the side and to try and hide it, but that means you have to bring the gun back on target again. So it's, yeah. But I'm not showing you this replay because just to show off it's how bad the tank is. I'm actually gonna do quite well in it. And we are on fjords. Started on the not the best spawn, and I went up here because knowing that my cupola is such a weak spot, I didn't feel confident going down here and sitting hull down at like 100-meter range. I just didn't think that would work out well. So I used some of my mobility, which isn't great, but it's something, to get up here and get that little hull down position. So it's 1-to-1 at the moment. I'm doing some damage. Okay, we're up by 2 tanks actually. 1 tank, okay. But so far, not so epic. So use intuition to reload an HE shell and try and get that Waffenträger of Panzer IV. Had to rush my shot there a bit because before he moved out of where I could shoot him. And miss. Granted, that was a kind of a small target, but if the gun had been a bit more accurate, then maybe it would have been a hit. Let's see here, can I get a shot on that thing? Yes. And the HE shells on this tank are actually quite decent penetration. It's like 120 millimeters They are technically Hesh. And there we go. I don't want to overextend here and to try and get the 60 TP, because then the AE phase 1 is just gonna farm me. And as others have mentioned in other videos, and I have mentioned on the forums, the AE phase 1 is kind of similar to this, except better in most ways, and you can pick it up for free from the battle pass. It doesn't even take a lot of like commitment to get the 9 battle pass tokens. You know, reload a premium shell. We trade 1 for 1 with the 60 TP, which is obviously not in my favor because that 60 TP hits a lot harder than I do. See if he can come up again. I've got the Waffenträger of Panzer IV helping me out here, and by just slightly turning just when he fired, I was able to eat the shot with my track, so that's good. But I'm still a one shot to him because he does 750 on average. And now he fired at the Panzer IV. I still don't really feel like going down there and getting farmed by a bunch of different tanks. But now that the AMX-30 is out, he fired again, and he's out. Well, that kind of it does kind of feel like I let the Waffenträger out to dry there, but he did kind of overextend. And here's the AE phase 1 again. And if we're gonna do like cupola sniping dueling, then I do think he has the upper hand. Because he has the smaller cupola, he has got a more accurate, faster aiming gun, and he has more health. So that's why I just sit here and wait for him to expose himself again. We got the TVP coming down here, doing some things. And there we go. And once more. That was quite lucky actually. That was not a fully aimed shot. So sometimes the gun does not troll you. But we have collapsed their defense in the south. The AE has fallen. Now the Leopard has gone down to the peninsula, and the WZ is last seen up here, and at 1200 hit points. So I'm a bit worried about that. There he is. That guy could one-shot me, so well, he can't no more because he's dead. So it's now time to advance again. Sadly, I don't think I will be able to pick up any more damage after this. But we're up to over 6,000 damage and 300 spotting. So that's not bad. That is so far the best game I've had in the Chieftain prototype. I'm gonna show you one more. This will end up being an ace tanker. The other one will not, but it's still pretty good. And the PTA is dead. Killed by Bob Ross Little Trees. And there we go. I'm gonna put up the post-game stats here for you to see and marvel at my mastery. Now let's take a look at the other game, if I can find it. And we are back in the Chieftain prototype, this time on Live Oaks. It's a tier 10 to tier 8 battle, so I'm not top tier, I'm not bottom tier. Just in the middle. And yeah, your eyes are not deceiving you. These are Waffenträger of E100s from the event. You can currently get them as rentals, either from the aforementioned loot boxes or from just playing the event. And you can play these rental tanks in random battles. Very limited number though. I was only able to get my hands on 25 rental battles in that tank. 5 from the event and 2 times 10 from the loot boxes. And sadly, it's not classed as a premium tank, so you can't just move a crew from another German tank destroyer into them for free. You have to retrain the crew for that tank, which seeing as it's not a permanent tank, you can only play it for a limited number of battles, for a limited number of time, for a limited amount of time, rather. Yeah. But anyway, onto this game. I'm quite alone here, but I do have backup behind here, so that's why I don't want to advance any further than this. But I know that if I stay here, I should be able to get some spotting damage on whatever tries to push over me. Because I've got that Waffenträger of E100, I've got the Waffenträger of Panzer IV is coming too, and a couple of other tanks. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna fall back, because I'm exactly where I need to be. And here comes the TVP. Is he gonna try and clip me out? Well, there was an attempt. But when you have a Waffenträger of E100 behind you, anything that tries to overpush, it's gonna get punished very hard, very fast. And because that thing has been out of the random queue for, what, 7 years now? I think. A lot of people have forgotten or may never learned what happens to you when you try that. And here comes the AMX-30B to help me. The Chieftain has gone away, the real Chieftain. Which, okay, technically it's not a real Chieftain, but it's the Chieftain people think about when they hear Chieftain in World of Tanks. He seems to have retreated. He was last seen right here. So he was smart enough to know that, okay, this flank was not pushable. But where did he go to? And there he is. And he puts one into me. I have to aim and aim and aim. Put one into him. And he went dark. I'm just hoping some of our camping TDs up there is going to spot him. And there he goes. Was not fast enough to get a shot on him. But I'm up to 4K combined, which isn't bad. And there he goes. I picked up some more spotting damage on the way. Oh, and he has a friend. Well, he had one. So, their Waffenträger last spotted here. Okay, there goes the light tank. He melted away before I could even aim at him. Yeah, there Waffentrigger last spotted holding up here, so I'm hoping it's gonna be kind of safe for me to push up this flank. First gonna feed on this T-30. It would probably have been smarter for me to just continue on down here before... because the Waffentrigger is obviously not there anymore. He could be moving back somewhere to reload, because he's got like a minute to reload the magazine on that tank. So just using my time and getting across here as quickly as possible. Just firing on the move doesn't really work out. Here I am picking up some more spotting damage. Okay, he got dead before... and their Waffentrigger is out, so it's just a cleanup job from now on. Blind shot on the Leopard 1. That did hit. I didn't save the post-game stats, but I remembered checking it, and it was a hit. And oh yeah, this tank takes module damage like crazy. And a miss. So I did end up on a bit over 3k damage and more than 4k assist damage, because not all of it is shown here. So like 7k combined, almost 8. Not bad. I think it was a first class, not an ace anyway, but not bad. So yeah, that was the Chieftain prototype. Not a great tank, but you can do well in it. I would probably pick the A Phase 1 over this. In most cases. This one is a little bit faster. It's got that going for it. But not by much, and it gives up a lot in the gun handling department. And also with the bigger cupola, it's not as good as going hull down. Even though just looking at the raw armor thickness of the turret, at first glance it looks to be better, but it's really not. So yeah. Next up, a more fun tank to play, in my opinion. Goodbye and take care.